Something else. You specialize in this arena. Isn't it kind of, and I don't know, aren't most people who get cited for DUIs actually guilty of it when they're pulled over?
No, not necessarily. The law says that it is illegal to drive if either you're impaired to such a degree that you can't operate your motor vehicle like a reasonable person, or that you're over the specific blood alcohol level of 0.08. Well, there are a number of people out there who could very easily operate their motor vehicle with a substantial amount of alcohol in their system. They wouldn't be guilty of being impaired. The example I like to use is somebody, let's take, Tiger Woods. Even if he had 3 or 4 beers in his system, I'm sure he could beat either one of us in a game of golf. He's not impaired for the purposes of playing golf like a normal person. He may be impaired for Tiger Woods' level. As far as being over 0.08, as I said before, there are a number of reasons why someone could have a chemical test over 0.08 that are not necessarily related to the consumption of alcohol. The breath machines, contrary to common opinion, actually don't test for alcohol. They're not alcohol specific. They're a chemical specific, but the chemical that they look for, or the bond that they look for, is not specific to alcohol. So you could test on a breath machine, you could say, wow, I guess I did something wrong, when in truth you didn't.
All right, well, let's get to the nuts and bolts of what you do. This is a field you've decided to specialize in. You've been doing this for how long?
I've been doing nothing but DUI for approximately 10 or 11 years now.
And so you've had lots of cases.
Thousands.
Thousands of cases. When someone calls you, what happens? What are the steps you go through with them?
Well, the first thing that we do usually is we try and make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Oftentimes, people have heard nothing but horror stories about how the world is going to end for them. And the first thing that we do is we try and make sure they understand that while this is significant, it is not necessarily the end of their life. Second is we try to make sure that evidence that may be necessary is gathered and saved before it disappears. For example, you leave the bar on Friday night and you get arrested Saturday morning. If you go back to that bar Saturday afternoon, the bartender may remember that in point of fact you did only have 2 beers. If you wait 2 months, that bartender's not going to remember you. So those are 2 of the most important things we do. Then we bring you into our office to sit down and talk with you. Even though it's not required as part of my work, one of the things that we do in my office when we meet with people is we do spend a little bit of time trying to find out if this is an isolated incident or if it's more significant than that. I'm proud to say that I have probably sent more people to therapy, rehab, whatever is appropriate, than Mothers Against Drunk Driving has ever done, because I see a lot more people. I'm not just out there politicking. I meet people, and sometimes I say, you know what, Mr. Smith, I think you should go see somebody because there's deeper issues here than this offense that we're talking about. Once we establish a relationship with our client, then the real work begins. We obtain the police reports. We obtain the maintenance and calibration records of the breath machine. We find out who took blood, if you gave a blood test. How was the test run? We do all those things. Plus, we also ask you a number of personal questions to make sure that whatever the test results came back, it does seem appropriate to what you indicate you had consumed. And there's a lot of physical questions that we ask in those